Hey guys, Darkovika here. I just got finished recording a vlog and I realized that I have a whole other topic that wasn't really related to the vlog that I could talk about. So I'm going to put that in this vlog. This is about what it was like being a student. Now, I've graduated. I graduated in June of 2016, and I realized I have a lot of stuff to share about what it was like being a student and knowing that I was going into horrific debt and what I did to sort of like work around it or work with it or whatever. So when I was in high school, the thing that everyone kept telling you was go to community college, get rid of your general education, try to get rid of all of the stuff that you could do here for like $26 a unit. I would pay like literally $100 per semester to get my classes out of the way. And a lot of people get their degrees at community college, which is totally fine. But what I wanted to major in was not really offered at any community college, so I didn't have that option. I could have technically gotten a computer science degree, and that would have suited me just fine, really, if I had worked hard. But I ended up not doing that. So what I did do, though, is I did go to community college, and I did get my general eds out of the way. Unfortunately, I started community college in a horrific state of mind. I was horribly depressed. I ended high school just really rough. I had a massive breakup that damaged me a lot emotionally, and I don't care who watches this. He might, whatever. But it really just ruined my outlook on everything. I was already just like handling being out of high school pretty poorly. I liked high school, so I wasn't really ready for college. When I got to college, I made no friends and I was alone 100% of the time. I would go home and lock myself in my room. And I mean, this entire period of time was just really, really bad. It was only really recently that I kind of came to terms with like how hard I've been handling just like I lived with my parents for up until probably, yeah, last year. I lived with my parents and I had an apartment for a short period of time, and that was just horrible. That made me even more depressed, and that's a whole other story. But, with community college, what it did do was it gave me the freedom to be absolutely lazy and a horrible person and a horrible student and not be paying thousands of dollars. I will say, at community college, I skipped a lot of classes. I half of the time didn't do my homework. The only classes I probably really worked hard in were English classes, and I've always done really well in English. Like, I love reading, I love writing, I actually really do enjoy writing essays and looking up research and stuff, so English was always like my backup plan. If I couldn't become a programmer, I was going to go into English, and I don't know what I was going to do. Write a book maybe. I'm still working on that. But the idea was I went into community college thinking I was just going to get my general eds out of the way and go to college, or an actual, like, not actual, excuse me, that's rude, a one step up college, not community college, but like a university or whatever. Unfortunately, that was not really an option because I did so poorly in community college. So I should preface all of this by saying, please do work hard. Community college is not something you should just throw away to stay on your record. Also work hard in high school. It really gives you so many options when you get out of high school. I was a terrible student as a senior, and so it really cut my options in half. You do not realize how much it affects you until all of a sudden you notice how many options are no longer available. Like when you start looking and you realize there's no way you can get into the schools that would be a really good fit for you, and you have to choose from a very small basket of options, that's kind of when you realize that you screwed up and there's no going back. Everything you do in high school, and maybe not middle school, high school and community college, any school you go to, it follows you forever. Graduating, even if you don't think you're going to do something that requires a high school certificate, get it. Get it anyways, because it is better to have those options than to not have those options, because you don't know what you're going to want in 30 years. So do it even though you don't think you're going to want it, if that makes sense. Get a degree, even if it's like a backup plan to get a degree. You're like, nah, my family owns this business and I'm going into this line of work. I don't need a degree. Get one anyway. Get one in business. Get one in, I'm not sure. I can't think of anything else that might help, but like get something that you think might help you and give you more information, along the line. But, that aside, When I went into community college, I was in a horrible state of mind, and I ended up making a lot of friends. And those people probably kept me out of depression just barely for the entirety of my career at community college. I have so many amazing stories, some of which I've told on the channel, some of which I never finished telling on the channel. I have so many amazing stories on my channel and not on my channel from these people that I met at community college, and they really gave me an idea of just how fragile I was and how badly I needed people to support me. I'm trying to fix this hair. I thought it was on this side because it's mirrored. Anyways, it was amazing to have those people, but I do know that I also skipped class to be with these people because I needed them emotionally and physically. I needed these people to rely on. And when I finally left community college, it was with a whole new mindset, because where I was going, these people were no longer going to be there. And it was an opportunity for me to be a brand new person and have a brand new work ethic and, just a brand new way of looking at life. And I wanted to work the hardest I could work. But the reason I was able to pull that off, and I graduated with honors, the reason I was able to pull that off is because I got all of that out of my system. So even if you take 2 years off of high school or go straight to community college, it is better, I think, to do that because A, it saves you money. B, it gives you an outlet, like a way to just sort of be like, yes, I'm free. I want to get all of this energy out of me. Like, I want to enter the world. I'm going to get a minimum wage job. I just want to live. You know what I mean? Like, just having that freedom really freed me to be able to be a lot more serious when I went to actual college that was like $1,500 a unit. Versus like $26 a unit. So when I went to the school that I wound up graduating, see, I did it again. I don't know how it gets over the microphone. It's the weirdest thing. When I ended up going to a school to get my degree, which by the way, I have a degree in visual and game programming. When I went to a school to get that degree, I went in with an extremely serious mindset. Like, I was like, no more fooling around. I'm not here to make friends. I am here to study. I'm here to learn. I ended up making amazing friends, but they were people with the same mindset as me. We never hung out outside of school. Not really. Partially my fault. They invited me to a lot of stuff and I never went because I'm a busy, horrible person and I'm so sorry. They're probably watching this. If they are, I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible friend. But we were amazing friends and they were great people. They never judged me. They understood that I wanted to work so hard. There were a lot of students that I saw at that school that skipped classes and they sat in the lounge and played video games. And I was like, you are paying thousands of dollars to go to this school. And all I could think was going to community college was the best decision I had, because all of those feelings of not wanting to be trapped in a classroom for 3 hours classes were 4 hours long. All of those feelings of not wanting to be trapped in there, I'd already spent. I'd already skipped classes. I'd already done all of that stuff. I was bored of it. I was ready to sit down in a classroom. I was older and I had the ability to do so because I'd already gotten rid of all of that like energy that was pent up inside of me. So I guess that's why I'm saying it's a good idea to either take a year or 2 off or go to community college. Obviously, I'm not your school counselor. I don't know your grades. I don't know your situation. So please talk to your family and your school counselors and stuff. I'm not like the know-all, but in my experience, that was such a huge, huge freeing feeling, knowing that I had gotten rid of all of that. Like, I never missed a day of school. I remember after my first year at the school, I get a phone call from my school. They're like, hello, this is the school calling. And I'm like, did I do something wrong? And they're like, no, we're calling to congratulate you on not having missed a single day of school. And I'm like, oh, is that a thing? And they were like, yes, we make sure to congratulate all of our students who are working so hard. Please continue to work hard. And I was like, thank you. I got a call like that 3 years in a row because I never missed a day of school. I would come in with like my scarf up like this and I'm like, I'm sick. Nobody come near me. And I would like sit in a corner and just be like taking notes. I used to have students who would come up to me and be like, Monica, can I make a photocopy of your notes? For 3 years, I was the note taker. If people needed notes, they would come up to me because my notes would be like 20 pages long. I would like take notes in my programs. I would take notes outside of my program. I would like have transcripts basically of the class. And I, not to sound like a broken record, but it really was because of the fact that I was able to really just sort of find myself and just get rid of all of the parts of me that I didn't like in community college. Like, when I was away from the people that I had known in high school, suddenly I wasn't sure who I was anymore. And then I met new people in community college and I wanted to be like them. But then I realized I was trying too hard to be like other people, and it gave me this sort of like, who am I? Who do I want to be? I don't like this part of me anymore. Get rid of it. Why am I trying to be like someone else? Get rid of that. Why am I doing this? You know, like that kind of thing. Why am I relying on other people? I need to rely on myself. And it was the funniest thing. My mom actually saw the school I wound up going to on TV, and she called them and she was like, hey, no, actually she sent them an email. And before she could come tell me that she had sent an email that I might be interested in the school called me. I was literally asleep. I woke up and I was like, hello, and they were like, oh yes, this is the school and we're calling because Monica Prunier is interested in attending. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally interested. I was like, what is this place? And they're like, yes, we hear you're interested in becoming a programmer. And I was like, yes, I absolutely. And they're like, how did you hear about our school? And I'm like, TV. I had to guess. I had to like straight up guess. My mom walks into the room and is like, who are you on the phone with? And I'm like, this school. And she's like, wow, that's fast. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I just sent the email. So it was like a really funny, like weird turn of events. So it was thanks to all of that I wound up going to the school and I met the people that I did, and I regret nothing in my life except maybe that I didn't work hard enough in my programming classes. I took a lot of my energy and I put it into the classes that I knew I was going to be really bad at, and I ended up being mediocre in my programming classes. Because I'm not a very good artist. I have learned that animation is the devil for me. I cannot animate. Not 3D, I can sort of do 2D animation. 3D animation is Satan to me. I had a teacher walk over once. I was sitting here and he was like, all right, everybody, I need you to work with this model. You're going to animate it doing a very simple movement. And I was like, you don't want me to animate. This is like my 4th year going to this school. He goes, Monica, I've seen you animate. And I'm like, you've seen like 12 weeks worth of work and desperation and other people fixing it. You don't want me to animate. And he was like, nah, you got it. I'm going to come by in like 30 minutes. You're going to have a great animation. He comes by and I'm literally like, I'm looking at my model and it's like in the A pose. And he's like, so let me see your animation. I'm like, let me preface this by saying I told you so. And he's like, what are you talking about? I hit play and the model immediately goes, I don't know what I did. I was like, all right, let's go ahead and move the arm. And I move the arm like this. And the whole thing just immediately starts like spazzing out. And I was like, I don't know how to fix this. I had a friend come over and he was like, I don't know what to do. It was the worst. I was so bad at 3D animation. I had like literally like 12 weeks to work on one thing. Maybe it's 11 weeks. I don't even remember anymore. I had like 12 weeks to work on this one animation that was a final because we had a very simple class. I ended up getting a C, and I think it was just because they took pity on me because I worked on that thing every single day. I came in and I sat down and I worked on that thing, and it was the worst. I tried to do Hatsune Miku and copy like a dance that I saw online from a video, and it was just the worst. It was so hard. It looked so bad. I don't have any of that anymore because it was so bad. I just sort of was like, hey, we're gonna put that in the trash. So yeah, if I ever get a job at any game company and they're like, all right, we're gonna need you to do animation, I'm gonna be like, sorry, I can't take this. I'm gonna get Waka because I can't animate. It's the worst thing on the planet. I can do programming and high level math, and I can put bones into a 3D model. I cannot animate. Do not make me animate the thing. It is the worst. I could do level design. I could do really, really basic 3D modeling. I can make pots. I can make pots and torches and a cactus. I made a cactus once. That's about it. Don't make me make people. Don't make me make animations. None of that. All right, guys, I think I covered everything in this. Community college is awesome. Take a couple years off if you don't want to do community college. I will say community college shaved off, I don't remember how much anymore exactly. I think it was $15,000. From, if I had not taken the classes at community college, I would have had to pay $15,000 more than what I've already had to pay in order to take those classes or their equivalent at the school that I wound up going to. So there you go. There's an example of how general eds and taking them at, community college can help you. So there you go.